The quartering is selling everything and still lying about his coffee. Got this video here I was sent to my Discord by Deber Garak. What a name. What a name. Apparently this video does a bit of a breakdown on all the recent drama with the quartering, which is fantastic because I've been calling this guy out for, I mean, just search my channel. Search the quartering on my channel and you'll find it's probably been like 7 years of me calling this guy out for being a grifter. And now finally everyone's realized what's been in front of them all this time. I hate to be the I told you so guy, but I fucking told you so, internet. Anyway, the quartering's coffee, the way that he spends his money, the fact that he's a blatant grifter, has bragged about it so much to trigger the libs, is all catching up with him. And I thought we'd just sit back and enjoy the fireworks, because boy, have I spent years waiting for this to finally happen. Let's watch.
Promised I wanted to check in on quartering, and so much has happened, it's actually insane. I thought we were over. I thought it was done. Like, there really wasn't anything else going on with Quarter Pounder that I thought could be covered. And then every single fucking time I say, this is it, there's nothing else to talk about, he just swoops in at the last possible second with 18 new things to discuss. Quartering is the grift that just keeps grifting.
Yep. I mean, like, the thing about it as well is I learned the term grifter because of the quartering. The quartering was so dumb in the early days of when I knew about him in 2019, where you'd see him ranting about asexual robots in Apex Legends, but then whenever he got called out, because, you know, people would be like, yo, what are you complaining about? Why are you calling every new game woke? Like, what's your deal? Because he was somewhat new at the time. He would respond, I don't really care. Listen, I don't really care. Like, you know, I don't really care. Because people would call him out for being mad and kind of cringe. So he would just brag about how he doesn't actually care, and he's just doing this for money, and it just makes him bank, and that's the only reason he says these things and makes these videos. He would use that as like a big gotcha on progressives who criticized him, and now he's crying about the fact that his bragging about being a grifter is finally catching up to him. I was like, what is this guy's deal? Why does he admit he's only doing this for money? And eventually I learned there's a word for people who do that. Grifter.
What's your Bergerek, and we are once again discussing our favorite lol cow on this channel, the Quarter Pounder, Jeremy Hambley. We have discovered a number of very interesting things about him in the last couple of days. He is doing this excellent new sympathy bait where he is claiming to be selling all of his prized possessions. He's selling his special collections of old retro video games. He is
There's no way he actually is, right? He's had to have made like 10 million at least from his channel since I've started covering him. Mind you, this is a guy. All right, let me give you some insight here, okay? I have uploaded 3 videos a day, not super consistently. Usually in like 2 or 3 month stints, I'll upload like 3 videos a day super consistently. The videos will get somewhere around like 5 to 10,000 views over the course of a month, maybe more, you know, depending on how the algorithm's treating me. And you know, that makes, like, enough money to get by, right? Like, that's solid in terms of, like, ad revenue or whatever. But the quartering uploaded, like, 5 times a day for 7 years straight, almost 8 years straight, pulling over, like, 150 to 500,000 views per video, while also live streaming and collecting donations, also taking sponsorships. I don't take sponsorships. I've taken 1 in my entire YouTube career, so sponsorships aren't really a factor. But, like, he's also taking sponsorships, so add that on top of the pile. Add on top of that his coffee business, which I called out many times in the past. I'm glad it's finally catching up to him. Add the coffee business on top of that. He has been making so much money, month by month, for so long. How could he be out of money? Like, genuinely, how could he be out of money? It is actually mind-blowing to me how he could, even if he was spending ridiculously, he should still have like a few million in the bank, just that how could he spend it? He has to have a gambling addiction or something.
Bulldozing his gigantic $15,000 RC track, and he sold the ventilated, air-conditioned shipping container that he was bragging about not that long ago. Not only that, but he is making promises about the Walmart deal coming for Coffee Brand Coffee that will never happen because, again, it is white label and or drop ship. Despite Quartering's best efforts to claim that is not in fact the case, we have yet to be
exactly what I suspected is that, okay, I talked about this a while ago. I think I've talked about this for like 2 or 3 years now, actually, that the quartering and all of these like really low tier grifters, when they try to diversify their income streams to make more money, the first thing they gravitate towards is coffee. I remember I specifically asked chat, you ever wonder why it's always coffee? And I would go on this rant explaining to you guys about how coffee is super easy to package. It's not traceable to any particular manufacturing or production. So you could just buy third-party coffee, put it in your own packaging, and sell it. Hell, even if you are sourcing it from somewhere, you just put it in a package and sell it. People have to buy more coffee when they're out. It's addictive because it's caffeine. You know, there's so many factors that make coffee such a good grifter, like first business diversification product, and they all go for it. And I'm so glad everyone's noticed and everyone's calling it out, because his coffee business has been a blatant grift for so long.
Provided any actual evidence to the contrary. Now, the most interesting bit of information that we've gotten from Jeremy is he talked on a recent live stream about plans to downsize his house, wherein he revealed that in this insanely cluttered mess of a house where he had an entire 50+ arcade machine set up in his backyard in like an extra building, and he has all of these brand new shelves he put up in the basement full of his garbage, including a shitty children's Sailor Moon plastic piggy bank. He still had 7 empty rooms in this house. Now, 8,000 square feet is a shit ton of space. Nobody...
Holy shit, that's his house blueprint? I don't believe that he's broke. I think he realizes that his online presence is on its way out and he's trying to cash out as hard as he can before it's over. I think he'd rather there be a big spike and then a fall off rather than just being a slow fall off. But like, he built this house, or he didn't build it. He had this house built, and this is just an enormous like compound, and this is his house, and then he's got multiple buildings on the property. Like, when I tell you guys that these right-wing media slop grifters, like, they are making unbelievable bank, this is what I'm talking about. Like, whenever you guys see me like low-key a little salty or jealous, like, why do all these right-wing grifters make so much money while us progressive content creators have to scrape by for scraps? It's not because they're, like, doing all right and left-wing creators are struggling. It's because left-wing creators are struggling and people like the fucking quartering live in a mansion. That is the difference between the left and the right when it comes to media creation. You know what I'll even say? This puts Hassan's mansion to shame. Hassan lives in a house compared to this. Even Hassan, who is the richest of progressive content creators, is not living this luxuriously and lavishly. So if you're ever wondering, like, what is the difference? Like, how much money is the right working with? This much money. This is the quartering's house that he had built, that he had designed and built from scratch on his land that he bought. That's how much money these people have. Does the quarter pounder get Russian money too? Maybe, but he wouldn't need it.
Needs that space. But as somebody who is a hoarder...
Listen, guys. Could you like the videos so maybe I can own a house one day? Even if it's like a little Amazing World of Gumball house, okay? Just like the video, please.
Who would just buy random collectible shit just to have it. It's kind of crazy that he couldn't fill 7 additional rooms in this house. So Jeremy's whole situation has always been bizarre, and I don't know how true any of that is, because you never know what's actually true and what's not. He claimed to have sold his Neo Geo collection yet again, but we know he has claimed that before, and then when confronted about it on stream, when a chatter asked him about it, he said the Neo Geo collection was never sold. So whether or not he's actually selling his NES collection and all this other shit where he's claiming to have sold it for half of the value, he's having this going out of business sale. Like, he is liquidating his collectible assets because he's not making rent. He is spending any and all money.
Not making rent? What do you mean, mortgage? Like, he's not renting, is he? It seems like he's bought land and then hired a construction company, an architect, to build a house. So what it seems like is he's cashing out, and then like he's basically cashing out and golden parachuting his online presence. Like, I guarantee you know what's coming next? Like, once things really start to fall apart, he's gonna do a crypto scam like Boogie. That's what I think he's gonna do. That'll be his true golden parachute. But in the meantime, it's like all those collectibles and stuff, most of it was probably just set decoration. Like, if he knows that his online career is, like, winding down, why would he keep all that stuff? Like, time to start selling all the random nonsense in the background. You know, he's got a mansion that's built, right? He has a big mansion. It's built. He owns the land. All he needs to worry about paying is mortgage, if that's not paid off, which it might be at this point. He might have already paid it all off. And then property tax. Like I think all he would have would be taxes, unless he's, like, still funneling his cash into, like, building multiple buildings or something on his premises, on his compound. Because, like, Tim Pool has, like, a multi-building compound, for instance. Like, most of these big right-wing guys have, like, property with buildings. It's like a little mini town, you know, and some of their employees, like their editors and stuff, live in the buildings.
That he's made on advertising to bot viewers. He was doing this crazy race war grift for the last couple weeks following the Carmelo Anthony trial, where he made like 12 straight videos about Carmelo Anthony. Now that he's been sentenced,
time to cash out.
The verdict has been given, there's not really much else he can say about Carmelo, so that's over. He got like 230,000 views on a Carmelo Anthony video, which is something he has not achieved in months. But whether or not he made good money on that is debatable, because again, we know that he has been paying for advertising and paying to promote his channel. So the views that he's
I don't know. Like, this video feels a little optimistic about the Quartering's downfall, and I'm not even that optimistic. Like, I feel like he could still be around for a little while. He's definitely on his way out. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna see the Quartering, like, dominating everyone's feeds ever again. But he's not gonna go broke. He's not gonna be, like, even downsizing from his mansion. He's just gonna retire, it seems like. I think he's just trying to make as much money as possible before hitting the retirement button.
Getting come at a cost. So whatever money he's making, a portion of it is...
Like, this is the problem. Like, this cancellation of the Quartering needed to have happened, like, 5 years ago. The Quartering has spent, like, 7 straight years making probably more than $1 million a year, right? So even if his career ends tomorrow, he's set for life. Like, this needed to have happened like 5 years ago to really have that kind of an impact. I think. I could be wrong. The Quartering might have been really bad with his money. Like so bad with his money, I don't even know how you could spend it all level of bad with his money. And he could be broke. It's possible, but that just doesn't seem likely to me. I don't know how I could spend $1 million. I don't know how I could make that $1 million go away if I needed to, you know? Like, I don't know what, like, I don't know.
Going towards advertising. Additionally, something interesting was pointed out recently that Quartering is using AI for thumbnails now. The logo on his thumbnails on Rumble are getting weirdly janky, like the letters aren't adding up quite right. They're not.
Even he's AI in the thumbnails. What the fuck? That's AI Quartering. Look at his eyes. They're like bulging out. Oh my god, that's nightmare fuel.
Spelling coherently, so
Yeah.
I don't think he has a thumbnail guy, and I'll be totally honest, I don't think he's ever had a thumbnail guy, or at the very least he hasn't had one in months, because why in God's name would you pay for a thumbnail guy when you can barely afford to pay your live stream co-hosts? Now, Hannah Claire disappearing until the fall, which whether or not he makes it to fall is another conversation entirely, is a blessing in disguise.
I don't really watch any of the Quartering's live stream stuff, but yeah, apparently he's got a little community of people that are his employees that are literally paid to cover for him. Melanie Mack is a very famous example of someone who's paid to cover for him.
Because now instead of being out $1,000 every time 2 women show up on his live stream, he's only had to pay for Melanie Mack. The problem is Melanie Mack and the Quartering are the worst possible duo to be doing these live streams. The numbers are way down. He's averaging 400 live viewers. As somebody who has 2 million subscribers, that's incredible.
Listen, okay? We can't all be 1,000 viewer Andys, okay? Alright? Just because we have less than 1,000 viewers, alright, doesn't mean we're boring, us small streamers, okay? How many viewers they got right now? Okay? How many got right now? 120? This guy only got 120 viewers doesn't mean I'm boring, right, chat? Hit the like button if you think I'm not boring.
Incredibly pathetic, and nothing that they talk about is of
the like count just drops by like 10.
Interest. They literally just did an Elders react to Tobuscus's old music videos from like 10 to 15 years ago.
Oh my god.
Because somehow he thinks people in his audience wouldn't know who Tobuscus is. And now because he's doing shitty music videos about...
I mean, that's a good point, actually. You have to assume a lot of the people who are dick riding Tobuscus right now, because he's gone right-wing, they're almost certainly not OG Tobuscus fans. Like, they're probably, like, 16, 17 years old, and if you're that age, you probably were not sentient when Tobuscus was at his peak, right? Like, it is funny to see all these, like, clearly teenagers, like older teenagers, but still teenagers, like, acting as though they were fans of Tobuscus when he was at his peak, and now they're fans of him now he's a right-wing chud. It's like, you weren't around when Tobuscus was at his peak, buddy. You're LARPing. You're LARPing. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but the LARPing fake, like, Tobuscus fans that say, like, oh yes, finally, he's coming back and he's right-wing. Tobuscus is a right-wing chud now? Huh. Oh, he's a full-on Nazi, Eric Kuara. Remember, he got outed as he got rape allegations, left the internet for a while, came back and made a response to it where he contradicted everything he said in his original response, which basically cemented everyone's understanding at the time he was a liar. Philip DeFranco confirmed a different story that's also really bad about Tobuscus when it, basically claiming Tobuscus was whipping his cock out and, like, putting it in the faces of women at Philip DeFranco's Super Bowl party. Also, Tobuscus was, like, a chronic drug abuser. On top of that, he got exposed for all these things, left the internet, got, like, pretty thoroughly destroyed, but now he's come back, and he just says the N-word now on Twitter. So he's pulling numbers again because he's, like, gone racist.
Politics and immigrants, he's suddenly courting his new co-host, who knows, but he slobbers all over Tobuscus because he's going to get a modicum of relevance from him, which is ridiculous because, again, Tobuscus is incredibly washed up, he's a piece of shit, and he was in fact accused of sexual assault by an ex-girlfriend. The entire thing was very murky.
Nobody knows about the fucking Philly D thing. That's the crazy thing. Like, it's another example of me having straight up forbidden knowledge. Because, like, I was a fan of Philly D for long enough that when I heard him go on, I think it was the H3 podcast in, like, 2017.
Another huge right-wing grift are energy drinks.
That's true. That's true. Thank you for the $2, Vault Hunter. But as I was saying, though, damn it, never mind.
And gross, but following that, Tobuscus had a massive BPD crash out and has just disappeared from the public sphere since. So he's probably the last person Jeremy needs to have on his payroll, but at the same time, he did have Styx, Hex, and Hammer on his payroll for the longest time.
Oh, God.
And he bailed him out.
Dude, every time I see an image of Styx, Hex, and Hammer, it kind of looks like a Hatman sighting. Or like an SCP, like an early 2000s, early 2010s, like SCP page image. Like whenever you click on an SCP and it's like, ah, yes, what's the little like grainy image of the creature they decided to use? Like that image right there.
Out of prison after catching a domestic abuse charge. So Jeremy's not known for, picking the best for his content. Now, on to Coffee Brand Coffee. It was recently discovered by Jeremy because somehow he didn't realize that because his Kona coffee says it's a blend, even though it says 100% Kona, it's 100% Kona blend, he didn't know that doesn't in fact mean something different. He tried to cover it by saying that blend, the way you're using the word, is different from how I use it, and so this isn't actually a blend, it's all Kona coffee. But that's not how it works, and Hawaii has very strict regulations about 100% Kona. You can't make that.
I feel like maybe we're focusing a little bit too much on the minutia here, because my whole criticism has been that the entire coffee company was always a grift. Like that brand, like branching off into coffee was a deliberate goal of being like, okay, how do we incur as little risk as possible, do as little actual like manufacturing and packaging and work as possible. Turns out he was literally drop shipping, so he really limited the amount of like work they had to do on their end. Like and sold a product that is like the most grift attractive product ever. Not that there's anything wrong with coffee beans, it's just anyone who's trying to make easy money on some new business diversification like endeavor always gravitates towards coffee.
that claim unless it is in fact Kona coffee, and you can catch a charge for fraud because you're lying about your 100% being a Kona bean rather than a blend of different beans. So I've learned a lot.
They don't fuck around about that. Like, countries that have very specific, like, branding associated with a product made from their country, like I know there's God, what am I thinking of that's specifically named after a certain region, like in Italy? There's a lot of things like that where you're just not allowed to call something that thing unless it is that thing, even if that thing is, say, like a certain cut of meat with a certain fat content, for instance, right? Like, it can be really, really hyper specific.
About Kona coffee from Misty Mochi's recent video with Luther Morgan, which I found very interesting. Of course, given the history of YouTubers and the law, I would be shocked if he caught any sort of charge, so that's nice. Jeremy did this massive effort post on Twitter, you know, the website where he said he was no longer going to be posting. He was just keeping it up so that nobody could steal his
I might be thinking of Parmesan cheese. Yeah. That could be it.
Twitter username, and he also just was going to use it to promote when he was putting up a video or a live stream. But no, he's just full on race baiting again and getting into arguments. He quote tweeted fucking bearing and then deleted the tweet because he's a pussy ass bitch because he hit the fireball again, so he just went off on Twitter like he always does.
Oh no. Yeah, the quartering being like a genuine, like, sad, barely functional alcoholic does not get enough mentioning. I'm gonna be real. Like, he is a sad man who has such a high blood alcohol content at all times, and you can tell from how often he's slurring his speech and how slowly he talks, and no one ever called him out for it until kind of recently. Like, it took Kino Casino calling him out for people to be like, wait, this guy is a fucking loser and a grifter and a piece of shit.
But in this massive quote post that he did, he was saying that he is still working towards putting Coffee Brand Coffee on Walmart store shelves. Now, why he would want to get Coffee Brand Coffee into Walmart confounds me, because Jeremy makes 4,000 videos a week shitting on Walmart and talking about how shitty black people that go to Walmart are.
Oh my God.
Why would you ever want to get your coffee on those shelves? Why would you want to sell your coffee to these people that you clearly think are inferior? You know, the math just doesn't add up for me. It doesn't make no damn sense to me. But he promises it'll be there soon. He has been promising this for over 2 years. The reason I don't think it's going to happen is because Walmart does these really cool investigations into brands and companies that they put in their stores. They're going to request a walkthrough of his facility. They're going to want to see the product. They're going to want to see how it's produced and manufactured. They're going to do a quality check on this shit before they even consider putting it in their store. He's not going to do that because he can't. Somebody pointed that out in his Twitter replies where they asked him about doing a tour of the coffee brand factory, because the best way to shut these haters up is to just show people this is in fact not dropshipped or white label. Even though the video that was produced 2 years ago was the same as the Mill Creek Coffee Roasters promotional content, the people in the video, just instead of having a Mill Creek shirt on, it said Coffee Brand Coffee. And when that was pointed out, suddenly Jeremy no longer wanted to do tours. Remember, we have never seen...
I mean, yeah, like, once again, none of this is surprising. I'm glad that people are actually, like, putting pressure on him, though. Like, hey, where are you making this coffee? Can you show us a tour?
Jeremy in the building. We have never seen him taking pictures or videos with his staff. He has lied about having employees for years. He's lied about employing 10 people, a dozen people at Coffee Brand Coffee because they're all working for Mill Creek and they just give him the bags of coffee with his shitty company name on it. So Jeremy is still trying to pump this idea that CBC is going to get into Walmart. I think if he really, really wants to fulfill that dream, he should just try to get it on the website rather than on store shelves, because Walmart's website is much more lax about the shit they'll allow. Pretty much any of those random gibberish companies that you find on Amazon for like furniture and shit, you'll find it on Walmart's website as well. So they're not going to be as difficult to work with online as they are in person, but whether he's even going to try to do that or if he makes it long enough to be able to do that, those are completely different conversations. So all in all, Jeremy Jimmy's situation seems to be getting worse. He is talking about potentially downsizing, moving out of his massive mansion in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and moving into a smaller house. Whether or not he'd see any profit from that sale.
We gotta follow this as it goes, because I'm really curious to see whether or not this is true, because I'm just mind blown at the idea that he could be broke. You know, like, I'm obviously, like, one of my haters' biggest gotchas is, well, Zan, you're broke, buddy. You're fucking broke. It's like, okay, all right. But, like, in this case, I am genuinely interested, honestly, just because I don't know how the quartering could have been financially irresponsible enough to not be loaded, even now. He's made so much money for so long. How could these allegations that he's as broke as everyone is saying actually be true? Alcohol? How expensive is alcohol? Really? Because alcohol's not that expensive. It's not. Like, you can buy, like, really strong, clear liquor and get destroyed from morning to evening and be drunk all of the time, literally stumbling drunk all the time for not that much money. Alcohol can cost you everything. Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's like, there's no way he's dropping millions of dollars in 6 years on liquor, and there's no way that, like, the liquor is preventing him from making money. Like, generally, if you're, like, a normal person, you start drinking a lot and you stop going to work and then you're ruined, right? But the quartering, like, he didn't stop working. He had so many diversified passive revenue sources. Like, even if he was too drunk to, like, upload a video that day, he should still make, like, $1,000 minimum. I don't know. We'll keep our attention on this story, because who knows whether or not it's even true, but if it does end up being true, there's got to be a super interesting reason around how he could have run out of money like that. Because, for reference, as a YouTuber, I have never made anywhere approximating the quartering's amount of money. I spent many years of my being a full-time YouTuber, living paycheck to paycheck, and I spent some years as a YouTuber with making plenty of money to put into savings. I don't know how, with his income, he could have done that. It's insane. It's actually insane. It's actually mind-blowing. I need to know. I need to know if it was gambling. I need to know if it was hookers. I need to know if he, like, put a bunch of money into crypto or in NFTs a couple years ago, or what happened. Because, dude, what did he do? What did he do?